would like to welcome everyone to tonight's school board meeting of the Shakopee School Board dated Monday, March 13th, 2017. Sarah, would you please take the roll?
Bowerman.
Yes, ma'am.
Hallett. Here. McKeon.
Here.
Pops.
Here.
Romansky.
Here.
Tucker. Here. And Swansea.
Good evening. All right, we do have an agenda in front of us, but because we have a lot of guests, we are going to take some things out of order so that we can honor some of our guests and then allow them to move on with their evening if they so desire. So I would like to move directly to item 4, which is consideration of the agenda as presented with the additions, and we do have also a couple of additions to add. Consent that's in front of you folks right now, 1.5. There are 2 line items on there: acceptance of bids and request for unpaid leave of absence. So if I could entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented with additions.
I will make that motion.
Second. Second by Mary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same side. Motion carries. We will then jump to item 5, the consent agenda. I would like to entertain a motion to approve consent.
So moved.
Matt?
Second.
Second by Tony. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we'll move up to item 2, which is some fun stuff. We are Shakopee Schools. We've got a number of good news items. The first good news item is item 2.1, recognition of Volunteer Week. And at this point, I would like to turn the floor over to Paulette and Sonia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Hellerud, and this is Paulette Roslin. We are the Volunteer Community Resource Coordinators for Shakopee School District. I'm here this evening, or we are here this evening, to share with you that the National Volunteer Week will be held April 24th through the 27th. Shakopee Schools will recognize the outstanding contributions made by volunteers here in our school district. As part of thanking these volunteers, teachers will distribute appreciation pins to those who help in their classroom, and each side will also honor volunteers who give exceptional service to the school, this year with the district's Above and Beyond Volunteer Award. Tonight, we are asking that the school board approve a resolution thanking volunteers and proclaiming April 24th, the week of April 24th, as National Volunteer Week. Thank you.
Any comments from anyone on the board?
I'll make one. We couldn't do what we all do day in, day out without the help of all the volunteers that contribute in so many different ways. It takes leadership, it takes coordination, so we thank you as well. We look forward to doing this every year, and I simply add my thanks to the committee for what they do all the time. Thank you very much.
I would agree with that, and if it was up to me, I'd say we extend that a whole nother week. Because we can keep this going. Any other comments, board members? If not, I would love to entertain a motion to approve the resolution of appreciation honoring school district volunteers as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Reggie and Matthew, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to 2.2, student recognitions. We've got a couple of items on here, and at this point, I'm going to turn the floor over to John Janke.
Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Thanks, Mr. Swanson. I have the opportunity and the pleasure to introduce our 2 AAA award winners this year. AAA, folks want to come right here. AAA is a Minnesota State High School League award that is honoring students that are involved in arts, athletics, and academics, and excel in both. So I also had the distinct honor of being our Region 2 AA Executive Committee Chairperson this year, so I had an opportunity to MC the event this past February down at Gustavus Adolphus College. It was a great partner with us in introducing these 2. So rather than stumble, I felt like I would just read to all of you what we shared at that banquet. So this afternoon, right next to me here is Andrew Pearson. The AAA award is a family deal in the Pearson household, with his older brother winning the award a couple years back. Academically, Andrew has worked hard in the AP and CIS courses offered here at Shakopee High School. In band, Andrew has multiple Sperry ratings and has twice been named All-State Band. Athletically, Andrew has played tennis and been a part of 3 conference championship teams. In fact, since entering the South Suburban Conference, his team has yet to lose a match. Andrew's faculty references mention his strong sense of responsibility and exemplary leadership skills. Next fall, Andrew plans to attend Minnesota State University Mankato to study business and continue to be a part of the band. Andrew Pearson. All right, our next individual is Melissa Janke. Melissa's faculty references share her extensive leadership and community service. That service has been focused with the top soccer program for adaptive athletes and a local physical therapy clinic where she has confirmed her desire to be a physical therapist. In the classroom, she's always challenged herself and maintained a great GPA while taking a variety of AP and CIS courses. In choir, she has achieved a couple superior ratings, and as a sophomore had the opportunity to travel throughout Italy and share the international language of song with others. As a four-year varsity member of our soccer team, she continued to improve throughout her career and finished as a senior captain, was named all-conference, was honored with the Sabre Award as a senior, which best represents the program in all phases. She has tried almost every sport imaginable and has settled on being a soccer player. Her future will include soccer in some capacity, and she will study to be a physical therapist at St. Louis University in St. Louis, Missouri.
Congratulations. And actually, while I wander back over here, is Mr. Vanderveen
I will grab him.
here?
Yes.
All right, we do have some additional awards that I will let our band director, Sean Vanderveen, take care of. There he is. Well, hi. It's all yours, brother.
Is it?
Yes.
Awesome. Everyone. These are a few of the kids, not everybody could be here, but a few of the kids that participated in an honor band experience in Mankato a little while ago. As an instructor, I'm a member of a professional organization called the Minnesota Band Directors Association. And through that organization, it's divided into different regions in the state. We belong to the South Central region, which extends from the south side of the metro all the way down to the Iowa state line and kind of cuts out of the middle third of the state. So as a member of the South Central region, I get to nominate a certain number of students who I believe would benefit from the experience. And of those who got nominated, these are the kids that went. And what they do is we get sent some music ahead of time, about a month ahead of time, and I give that music to them and I say happy practicing and help them out along the way. And they go down for a one-day event. And they get to meet students from all over that part of the state, and for the first time, and they rehearse for the morning and the afternoon without having ever met each other. And with conductors, they try to find notable conductors from around the area. The 9th and 10th graders met with the former band director from Gustavus, for example, and they get to spend the day doing that, and then they have an afternoon, early evening concert. Yeah. That's what they do. It's pretty fun.
Want to introduce them? And
Sure. This is Aiden Schmitz.
what do you play?
Trombone. Yep. Trombone. Me too. Me too. All right. Spencer Holm plays the saxophone. Jesse Vermeulen played the flute and the piccolo. Rohan Sastry played the alto saxophone, and Elizabeth Bolden played the flute as well.
All right. Let's see if I remember who's who. Jessica. There we go. Spencer. Liz. We're going to get some photos here in just a second. And Andy.
Andy's not here.
Oh,
we have an
Aiden.
Aiden. Yep. There you go.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And
Those folks couldn't be here.
those folks couldn't be here, but we are thankful for their contributions as well. Okay, individuals or group photo? What do you?
Group photo.
Group photo, okay. Let's give them a round of applause.
Together.
You get in the front, yeah.
Oh, they're all taller than me.
Perfect.
If any of the parents want a picture that Ashley's taking,
Yeah, good
just
call.
email me
One,
back to
two,
ours,
three.
and I'll email it back to you.
And everybody go over here. 1 second. 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. All right. A lot of talented students in this town. And parents, thank you parents. A lot of patient parents.
Yes.
All right, as they are making their way out, anybody that wants to fill in, please feel free to fill in. We're going to move to item 2.3, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Board Member Sean Hallett, who's going to do an introduction.
So we're going to wait.
We're going to wait.
Yes.
We would like to push 2.3.
Send that one.
Table that one. All right, then we will move ahead to item 7.1, more fantastic stuff. This is really great news. This is a first for Shakopee, period. This is the Academies of Shakopee Academy Champions. We have our first 2 Academy Champions that are going to be named tonight. We are super excited to have them here, and these are all the folks that are over to the side. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Dr. Thompson, who is going to introduce the
Sure,
Academy
thanks,
Champions.
Scott. So Academy Champions are local businesses that have agreed to be mentors for our young people. They, oftentimes we hear coming out of industry perhaps that they may have some technical skills, but maybe they don't have the right soft skills. And so part of being a career and college champion is getting our kids the competitive advantage so when they graduate, they already have some things under their belt that will help them for career, college, whether it's a 1-year school, a 2, a 4, or whatever that might look like. And part of that model, we asked for Hometown Bank, which would be the first one I'll introduce. We have Matthew Gasson from the branch management here, Dean Topp, the CEO of Hometown Bank, Tim Gravo, the president, and Julie Kruger, IT.
Julie couldn't make it.
Not with us. Okay. And for those who maybe want to get a snapshot, Sarah, will you, for Hometown Bank, in the academies of business and entrepreneurship, one of the things that the business students and the entrepreneurial students will get is an immersion experience within this. If you look at our high school, there are typically 3 towers, or a tower with 3 levels. There is a flex in between level, and the business and entrepreneurship either gets a lower or an upper part of the academies. Go ahead, Sarah. Hometown Bank is a partner that's going to give our students the full experience. And so what I mean by that is they literally are building a bank inside of our high school. And so students who want the opportunity to learn to be the bank CEO, the bank teller, the bank working with customers, it literally serves as like a branch of the Hometown Bank inside of this building. Now remember too, the building at full capacity is around 3,500 students. And so it gives it, and then of course we have our staff inside there as well. So it really gives you a nice look here at part of the commitment that they'll make as far as time, talent, treasures. The commitment for our business for time, talent, treasures is $300,000 that they'll give to us. And in some cases, it's architectural, like Hometown will give. They serve on like industry councils, they serve on steering committees. They're very, very heavily engaged with our teaching staff and our administration. And so it's with great pride that we are announcing the first of our 2 tonight, Hometown Bank, as being the Academy Champion for our students that are interested in business and entrepreneurship.
want to remember.
Head out on the far side there. Scott will meet you over there.
Or I'll just follow you.
Or just.
And the principal, yeah.
Please, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
please.
All right, so we grab all one.
All right.
Sneak out of the picture.
Jen, your face. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
The next group that I would like to introduce is St. Francis Regional Medical Center. And the folks that we have here tonight with St. Francis, Michael Morris, the Director of Business Development, and his family. He's a very supportive family. Thank you for being here. Mike McMahon, the President and CEO of St. Francis Regional Medical Center, and Kevin Boney, the Executive Director of the Saints Healthcare Funds. We welcome you and we thank you, and we want to show a little bit about what we have. So now, if you could imagine, for example, that you take the business and entrepreneurship as a floor, and you have the health science as a floor. The students who are interested in any of our health careers, their brand or their color here is working with the St. Francis group. The concept behind career and college readiness, we have a lot of, if some of your kids have been involved in a nursing program, for example, that's one of our very popular programs. We have now inside the new remodeled high school, we'll have the opportunity to give our kids a competitive advantage with, you see some of the hospital beds there. An example of the $300,000 that St. Francis Regional Medical Center might help us with, time, talent, treasures. So they might have a doctor come over and work directly with our students. They might have a nurse come over and work directly with our students. They might provide through the Saints Healthcare Funds, they might provide some work on the robots that they can do all the vitals and that kind of thing on. And so this is a rendering of the sim lab. You noticed Hometown Bank had the physical bank. Very likely for St. Francis, using a sim lab where they can work with the nurses, the doctors, and so forth is really a nice advantage for our students. So with that, I want to welcome and thank, as our Academy of Health Science champions, St. Francis Regional Medical Center.
Norm, come on over. All right, gentlemen, you can fight over it.
Perfect. Almost got the legs.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, now you know you don't have to go, you can stay if you want.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. We are incredibly fortunate to have these two great companies as our first two Academy partners, and there's more to come. There's a couple more academies that are going to have some partnerships as well, so good stuff. All right, now we're going to move on to item 3, and that is recognition of visitors to the board meeting. So if there's any visitors that are here tonight that would like to be recognized, we would ask that you please come up to the clipboard, sign in with your name and address, and then you can feel free to spend up to 3 minutes addressing the board as you like.
sign in to ask questions, or only if we want to give a presentation?
No presentations. In this particular part of the board meeting, it'll be an opportunity for any, concerned citizen, anybody that's interested in coming up. You can sign in. We don't actually get into dialogue back and forth. I'll answer this question because this is dialogue. We don't get into dialogue back and forth really, unless it's an item that, we're gonna discuss, outside of the board. But this is an opportunity if you just wanna go ahead and address the board with whatever sort of question or concern you have. We may or may not actually do anything here, likely not, just to be very honest and transparent, but feel free to come on up. Jordan?
Yeah, I'll do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right here.
clipboard up here.
We'll be here for you.
Hey, come on up. What? We'll just go ahead and state your name just so that folks that are not able to see
Sure.
you.
My name is Jordan Olson. I'm a resident of Shakopee. I'm here tonight to express concern over the $4.5 million that's missing from our school district, and I'd like some answers. Can you say that again?
I'm Rod Hicks, Shakopee resident. Same thing. Just let's see if we can get some clarity about what's going on.
Okay. Ma'am, you can go ahead and come on.
My name's Jeannie. I'm a taxpayer in Shakopee, and I would like some answers.
My name is Devin, and I'm a taxpayer in Shakopee, and my children also attend the schools. I'm concerned with the $4.5 million issue, and if it's going to affect our teachers and in effect my children, class sizes and so on.
I have the same concern. I've heard rumors of lots of teachers being fired, and we already are losing so many teachers. Our class sizes are much too large as it is.
My name is Angela, and I express the same concerns.
My name's Craig Savina, and I have a question about the $4.5 million. What happened? And if it was discovered or talked about in December, how come nobody heard about it until recently? I'd like that answered.
My name's Molly Russell. I'm a teacher in the district, and I have 2 children in the community, and we own a business in the community. I've actually been born and raised here since I'm 39 years old. My question is, I'm wanting things to be addressed, the changes in the title of positions, specifically of the media specialists, which have been changed to, in the coming year, being DLCs, so that would be coming from a different fund. I also would like to know where the $4.5 million went. I did get the email, but I felt like it was a little non-transparent. I don't know, I'm a data freak. I'm a special ed teacher, so I'd like to see the data broken down. I'm also just concerned again about the non-transparency, and I get very passionate about this because this is my district. I have fought for it and advocated for it and talked nothing but good things about it. And I'm disappointed in myself that it's come to this because I feel like I should have been more involved, but I didn't feel like I had to be. I Custon.
My name is Kelly Stavadal. I am a 15-year resident of Shakopee, and I've had 3 children in Shakopee schools, and I guess I'm just about where everybody else is, would like some clarity, and there's some rumors swirling around, so would just like some answers.
Are there any others that would like to sign in and address?
Can I go back and address a little more, or are we all gonna get another opportunity? Was that my little, I'd like to say more than, I thought this was just an introduction to who I was.
No, it is, like I said in the lead-in, that this isn't necessarily a back and forth dialogue. If you have something else you'd like to add, please do.
Okay, I will. Like I said, my name is Jeannie. I worked in the district for 10 years. I quit on my own accord. I worked with Mr. McBroom when he was the superintendent, and then I was also employed while this gentleman was superintendent. I will tell you right now, he is the reason I quit. I left the district because it makes me sick for all of you to agree with anything that he has to say, because I do not understand it. This district is going down in the hole so bad, so fast. Everybody knows it, the district, the staff, the teachers, everyone are so upset and irritated, and nobody has been saying anything. Thank God for this woman right here for speaking up. She works in the district right now. I can't believe she did it. I'm appalled. I'm embarrassed for this group of people right here. I am sorry, but something has got to be done.
Sorry, I just need to say factual information too. At West right now, for some classes next year, for AP Human Geography, we're looking at 37 kids in a section. For an AP class, regardless, AP or not, 37 kids in a section is not okay, and those aren't like preliminary numbers. We had 34, 35 last year, and those weren't, we were told, oh, those are preliminary. They're not. Smaller class sizes for kids is the best thing ever, and it's just, I'm fighting for our students first, because that's my #1 reason I'm still here, is for my students. And I just, yes, I'm standing up as a teacher and I'm putting my name out there, and I'm probably gonna become a target when I'm done.
Anyone else?
I guess I will, sorry. I'll just add a few little things. I'm a current teacher in the district right now too as well. So you really kind of gave me some insight there, some boosts. I know I only have 3 minutes and that's fine. I student taught here in Shakopee.
Can you give us your name?
Yeah, my name is Alexandria Wills, so I currently teach at Red Oak Elementary. I student taught here in Shakopee 5 years ago when Dave Orlowski was the principal. Mark Hansen here, he was my gym teacher when I was in high school. I know the Sabinas. I came back here to Shakopee because I loved it. And I taught in 2 other school districts, and it just wasn't my thing, and I never jived with them. But when I got here to Shakopee, I was so thankful to be here and so happy to be here. And then as of last week, Thursday, my principal notified me that he has no position open for me next year and that my position is terminated. But then as of this morning, we have other people coming in and telling us that this is just considered a warning. So for me personally, I have a family. I have an 18-month-old at home. I need to know if I need to look for a new position or if I need to just keep holding on to something that's not there.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, we'll close the public comment session, and I want to just say, firstly, even though we're not gonna get into heavy dialogue back and forth, I wanna thank each and every one of you who stood up and wrote your name down and for sharing what's on your heads and on your hearts right now. And I want to further thank those that are sitting in the chairs that are also here. Whether you stood up and put your name on the board or not, you are here clearly because you feel passionately about something and you're here to support in one way, shape, or form. So thank you for that. Your voices are incredibly important. And one thing that I heard with everybody that came up here is I heard a lot of passion, I heard a lot of hurt, and a lot of concern. And I want to just say that as a board member, I share your concern. I share the pain, I share the frustration that you may have. What may be unique is that I've had to deal with my particular pain and frustration with this very issue for months now. So it may look on the outside that maybe it doesn't bother me, or we're bulletproof or what have you, but I can promise you that those of us that sit at this table have had to struggle with this for some time now. So the fact that a communication ultimately came down to you through Dr. Thompson's office as of last Thursday to share what has been happening behind the scenes, to me that was incredibly transparent and incredibly necessary. Something that we had to do. Everyone that lives in Shakopee, everyone that works in Shakopee Public Schools is entitled to know what's going on. We began to talk about it in the December 12th board meeting, which you can go back and watch the video again if you want. And although somebody had asked, that's a direct question, this the December 12th board meeting where our finance director at the time called out some of the specifics of what was happening.
It wasn't shared as transparent.
Okay, we're not going to get into the back and forth.
I'm just
Thanks
saying
for
it
that.
wasn't.
So that's where it came out initially. I can tell you that from the point that this board was made aware of what had happened via an audit last fall, we have done nothing but take action, swift action, appropriate action, prompt action, and responsible action to identify where the root causes were, first and foremost, and get ourselves on the road to repair as quickly as possible. It would seem to me that as a taxpayer and as a district employee, that's what you would expect out of this school board and this leadership team, is to identify and get on the road to recovery as quick as possible. I'm guessing that's what you want us to do. I'm also guessing, and I think it's not a stretch to say that you would want us to make sure that we were not putting this district at any more risk than it may have already been put at by that point. And I think that that's probably fair. That's what you would want. You'd want to know what happened, and you want to know what are you going to do to fix it. And I can promise you that this administration has done nothing but move forward with what are we going to do to fix since this was identified. And I am confident and I am comfortable with the actions that we have taken to this point.
What have you done?
Well, this is where we're
What
not,
have you
we're not
done?
gonna
Quit talking in circles. You've been doing it ever since he came to town. You're talking in circles. We want to hear answers. That's all they want.
I appreciate your...
No, you don't, because you're still talking in circles.
If you want to fix it so bad,
Tell us what you're doing.
Roll back the increases that administrative got the first of the, or after you knew that this was a problem. Roll back those increases and give it to the teachers where it should be.
Stop spending. That's what we do in the private industry. We have to make a certain amount of money to spend a certain amount of money. You're not doing it. You're spending it as fast as you can do it. And you're still doing it. You haven't slowed down. Not one spot. Nothing is working. In the last 3 years, nothing has worked.
Here's what I'll say to that, sir. I will tell you that this board has worked within the budgets that we have been provided since the minute Dr. Thompson came on board, before then and after.
Then why are you $4.5 million in
The
debt?
information that was provided, again, we're not going to get into this back and forth. I appreciate
You
your
need
passion.
to. People need answers. You can't keep blowing us off.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to be respectful. I'm being respectful.
We want some
Okay?
answers. That's
I'm
all
going
we're
to ask you to
asking.
be respectful as I'm being respectful. Fair?
As long as you're not
I think
talking
we
in
just want
circles.
answers back
Okay.
when you're saying we're not talking about it. That's what's been
Tonight's
going on
board
in
meeting
this district.
isn't about going over each individual line
The
item or
board
what we've
meeting will
done.
be the next one.
We don't do that work in a board meeting. If you would like to have a conversation about what levers have been thrown, in order to appreciate what levers have been thrown to repair this, you have to appreciate the 7,000 line items of expense code that roll up into this budget, and the 300 line items of income that roll up into this budget. I'm pretty sure there isn't anybody here that wants to spend time
We're
going through
asking when-
7,300 line items of code to go over, if I may,
That's
each
not what we're
individual
asking.
change.
We're asking
That's what
when
you're
can we have
paid
an
to do.
honest conversation.
But
That's
sir,
what we're
ma'am,
asking.
In
That's all
order,
we're
in order
asking.
for us to give you a full and transparent accounting of every change that was made, you would have to know every one of those fine line items.
Isn't that what we pay you to do?
And that is exactly what we're doing.
Not very well if you're coming up that far in the red.
Okay, so that's as far as I want to go on that topic, because clearly, short of going through those 7,300 line items, there isn't likely going to be a degree of satisfaction that you're going to leave here with. All I can tell you at this particular point, as I've said, we have a new director of finance that is coming on, that is going to be introduced yet tonight. We have a budget consultant that is here that helped us identify exactly where the shortfalls were and exactly what needed to be done for us to recover from those shortfalls. This board has taken every one of those actions and recommendations under great consideration, and we have taken the appropriate steps to go forward to ensure, I might add, we're in the black right now, folks. We're still gonna be in the black.
Then why are we cutting jobs?
We just hired 10 teachers.
And why are you putting all the blame on
Why
Mr.
are we
Slaughter?
changing?
I don't
Maybe
understand.
it's
Okay,
actually
ladies and gentlemen.
DLC, so it comes out of a different, the referendum fund for the technology.
This is exactly the, there's too
This
much
is what's
dialogue going
normal
on
in
back
a, in
and
a
forth.
school
Let's
district.
let Dr.
This is
Thompson
what
talk.
should do.
You want to hear Dr.
You need
Thompson?
to answer
You
questions
can't
and
just
you
cut
need
us
to
off
listen
and say,
to
no,
us.
Here's
no,
what,
we're
here's what
not
I would
answering
like to answer the actual, I'd like to answer the question about who's being quote-unquote fired. What we are going to do as a board is there are certain positions that may not be necessary anymore.
But we're
Through
growing.
May I finish, ma'am? Through the course of natural attrition. You can save a position in a district by simply not backfilling somebody that departs. That's called natural attrition. That is completely different than terminating and or firing anyone. Can I guarantee you sitting here that every single individual that may ultimately leave the district at the end of this particular school year is going to leave based on natural attrition? I cannot say that. Can I say that every single individual that's going to live in this district at the end of the school year is going to be terminated? I absolutely will not say that. Because that is absolutely the last straw. We are dedicated at this table. Somebody was talking about class sizes. It was you.
Yeah.
And how critical it is. I can promise you, class sizes, keeping class sizes small is critical for everyone here. Every single
That
human
was
being
the
around
same
this
thing
table.
last year and they did it.
Why are they
were
going
the
up
same.
every year?
Well, I might remind everybody too that with the referendum that passed, we all knew class sizes were going to continue to rise until such time as the relief would happen by way of the addition on the high school opening, and then we would be able to recast all of the students throughout the buildings. That was always in the cards, folks. That was always in the
What's
cards.
happening with the elementary school assistant principals?
What's happening with the elementary school
If
assistant
anybody
principals?
wants to share. That's a rumor going around. I'm a teacher. We hear lots of stuff.
Here's what I would.
What's happening with their positions for next year? I just want to let you know.
Here's what I have a feeling that we could keep going like this, which isn't going to be profitable.
This
for
is
everybody.
actually very helpful. This is what the community deserves.
I appreciate that, but we don't have on our agenda plans to spend the rest of tonight going back and
So
forth.
what agenda does that happen? That's what I'm asking.
will you
When does that
have that on
agenda,
the
when does
agenda
that
that
go
we
on
can
the
do
agenda?
You know what we'll do? We'll get together as a board and we'll make that determination. That wouldn't be something that we're going to decide right here. I wouldn't want to guarantee
pick a day.
to anybody when we could in fact do that.
How about make us important as community members and educators in your community and say, next meeting or tonight, write the agenda. It's very important.
Here's what I would ask folks, and again, I appreciate your passion. I appreciate why you're here. What I'm asking for you to appreciate is that we are well aware of how you feel, and we have been feeling this ourselves. I am also a taxpayer in this town with 3 kids in the district. This issue affects me no less than it affects you. It absolutely affects me no less than it affects you. So I don't know that we need to one-up each other on who's hurt worse by what's happened here.
I don't think that's,
We're going
I don't
forward.
think anyone's doing that.
We're going forward. My ask of you folks would be, let us not hide behind rumors and or assumptions. Please get the facts directly from those that can provide them.
Come on, let's hear it from you. We've been waiting for years, Rod. Stand up, get a backbone.
Yeah. So will you entertain
back and forth discussion meeting date where we can be involved? I mean, a constructive
Would
one,
we
a
entertain
mediator.
a community forum where we can openly engage
Because we pay
conversation
tax
about
dollars
this?
to know
Yes,
what's
you do.
going on, so
Yes,
I
you
mean,
do.
we wanna know, so can you
It
entertain
is,
that?
it is not something that we couldn't consider. It is absolutely, anything could be on the
What do you
table.
mean consider? Let's just do it.
We demand it.
Again, sir, we don't make those kind of decisions right here in the
does?
vacuum.
Who does?
We
Yes,
decide
yes,
that.
do it.
Who's
Who
missing
does?
to make the decision?
Who makes the decision?
We're the
We'll make
taxpayer.
that particular
You're
decision
right, you're all right
at a
here.
different time, if that's all right.
No, it's not all right.
I have taken
That's
in the
not all right.
concern. I've heard you. I'm listening. I've heard you.
You're the only one talking too.
Yeah.
And you've made a lot of promises. You say promise about every 6 words. So promise us a time when we can come and talk about this then.
How about I promise I'll get back to you on that?
No, that's not good enough.
That's before we leave.
Not good enough.
We're not gonna have
Yeah,
that
you got-
conversation
all right,
today.
Why
sir.
not? We pay
You
this
got a
free.
half an hour.
Excuse me, please. I don't know who you are, young man,
Chuck
but I
Dory
would
from
really,
Shakopee. I've lived here all
Right,
my
so go to
life,
Shakopee.
and
I
I
got
graduated
kids
from this town.
I'm going to ask you to contain yourself, or I will ask you to please leave the room,
I'm
sir.
containing myself.
We are not going to name call, nor are we going to raise our voice.
Who name called?
Okay?
Who name
You just
called?
called Dr. Thompson a freak.
I did not call
We're
Dr.
recording
Thompson
that,
free.
sir. We are recording this.
Very good. Let's hear what we said.
Please,
No,
with
no,
all due
listen to it.
respect,
I
I
never called
need you
Dr.
to
Thompson a
please
freak.
contain yourself.
I am contained.
I'm really respectful, I swear to you I am.
Thank you.
But I'm in business, right? And if a lot bigger than the budget here, if I miss my budget, I'm held accountable.
Fired.
And I'm trying to figure out who's held accountable, whether it's the board, whether it's the administration. That's all I want to know is so because if we don't hold someone accountable now, it's going to happen again. And I've seen it in business, and that's the question I want answered.
I can tell you that we have held the appropriate parties very accountable. Very accountable.
You don't even know what it is.
I don't think that that's true.
Thank you, by the way, for answering.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And I'll give you that I don't know that there's an answer that will ultimately make all of you that want something specific happy. I'm pretty certain that there isn't a specific answer I can give you that would make you happy.
Have any charges been filed?
Oh, Lord,
Oh, how big are that?
no. There was no fraudulent activity involved in this particular budget shortfall. There was no fraudulent activity, so therefore there's absolutely no reason to involve law enforcement. None whatsoever. If that's fair, Jordan. If that's a concern, I would love to put that one to rest. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sir, I need you to sign in if you're gonna address.
So will you answer one direct question? So we've already lost plenty of teachers in this last 2 years. Will there be more teachers lost at every level? Because elementary schools are already every year, they're taking more and they're taking new sections, so the class sizes grow and grow and grow. Is that gonna continue to happen for next year?
I can tell you that we're gonna use our same models that we have been using with regards to class sizes, and that is going to be our driver. We look to see, can we add one, can we take away one? You know as well as I do, buildings are gonna change, individual classrooms are gonna change. So it's very difficult for me to say, based on your unique situation, exactly how it's gonna go, you know, which way, one way or the other. Are we going to say if a target classroom size was 22, would we be considering as a board to move that target size to 23 for a year? That is a very real possibility.
Can you tell us what our target goal is for an elementary classroom? Because right now, we're
It's by
sitting at
grade.
like 30.
It goes by grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
More for,
So, but I want to be respectful of the gentleman here.
Hi, Pete Kriegel, Shakopee resident since '99. I just want to know who makes the decision that we can have a public forum. I want it to be not yelling and that sort of. I want answers, and I just want to be able to have a discussion about it with some real answers rather than talking around a subject. And so who makes that decision in order to have that? If I assume, if I'm correct, it's everyone sitting here, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, so when could that decision be made? And is it you guys don't want to have a forum? Or is it, are you pacifying us tonight just to get us out of the room and not make a decision?
I would say no, that is not the case at all.
I mean, because, I'm sorry.
The most responsible thing for us to do would be to take a look at our agenda on the next learning session or the next retreat, which would be Monday the 20th. And we could look at that, and this could be a conversation that we would have as a board on Monday the 20th, to determine if we were to do something like this, what would it look like? When would it be? What would it look like? Who would be there? Locations, all that kind of stuff.
And you can appreciate that there's pretty passionate people
Oh, sure.
about it, and it should be further discussion, or at least, you know, because we need answers we need more than, well, there's $4.5 million, we fixed it, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I hear you.
You understand? I mean, you're the same way, you gotta be the same way, you're a resident too. But you've got the numbers, you've seen all that.
As I said, as a taxpayer with 3 kids in the district myself, this was just as impactful for me as it was for anybody else. So.
Who is the person we could follow up with to see if it would get on the agenda?
When the agendas for either a retreat or learning sessions are posted, you'll be able to see those on our website.
But who can we use as a contact to see if it can get on there? Is a
To
concerned
see if it
citizen?
can get on there. Right now, I can tell you points already been taken. We will have that conversation.
And what's your name again?
Scott Swanson.
Scott Swanson. So I'll follow up with you.
That'd be fine.
Steve.
Yes.
Dan Conrad. Here's a citizen. I'm also an employee of the district. I've been a substitute teacher for the district for 12 years, which I know I've been told then you're not an employee, but now I'm a long-term sub at the high school. I know I'm concerned as a taxpayer that I had to be an employee to find out about it. I mean, the taxpayers still don't know about this, which I think is a concern. I'm concerned to find out that you have known about this for months. That concerns me. I work darn hard every day as a sub. My pay has not changed at all. What I pay into support Shakopee schools goes up every year, and I continue to have to figure out in my budget how to make that work, okay? There's a lot of concern in the buildings district-wide. I have been in all of the buildings. I hear a lot of things. I mean, subs know a lot. Your employees are afraid to say anything. They don't agree with what's going on. They are afraid that they will be retaliated against. They're afraid they will be called in and addressed.
Can I ask you to do one thing?
What?
Could you speak from Ann's point of view and not as a spokesmodel for
I'm not I've seen and I've heard it, so, I figure my job, if I'm not at the high school tomorrow, you'll know why. And I've talked to you before with the referendum and tried to address some of these issues. I'm surprised if Shakopee Valley News is the paper of the district that this wasn't in the paper. If we're transparent, it would be in the paper. We would know about it, okay? Class sizes are going up. That referendum was passed so that they wouldn't go up. Pass this or your class sizes will be huge. Well, we passed it and now they're huge, okay? I cannot be an effective teacher in some of these classrooms because they're too big. You can't put 2 adults in a gym with 65 to 70 students and instruct them on anything, okay? So something needs to be done. You need to address this to the community, okay? You need to let everybody, we're not ignorant, we can figure out banking. Don't make it sound so overwhelming that we can't figure it out, okay? We can figure it out, and if not, we'll ask a question. I don't think people would be so irritated tonight if the public had known at the same time the employees knew. But apparently some employee put it out there for somebody to find out so that the community is here, okay? If we're truly transparent, we will know what's going on. After all, we are paying your salaries. So if we stopped, where would we be? Okay, I think we have the right to ask some of these questions. And again, like whoever it was said, in an orderly fashion. I think there's so much passion because we feel like it is not transparent.
Thank you.
Yeah, get us behind you again.
Okay.
Practice back and forth with us and.
I haven't done this for 12 years because, you know, I just think it's the best thing to do, okay? I want us to produce, I want, you know, people to be proud when they go, yeah, these people are from Shakopee, not, oh, no. Okay? That's all I have.
All right. Okay, we're gonna close out item 3, which was recognition of visitors to the board meeting. Again, thank you for coming, thank you for your feedback. Now we're going to move on to item 6, which is old business discussion items, and we're looking for Mr. McQueen, I believe, I haven't even seen him. Go ahead. Hello, gentlemen. Thanks for waiting. We are here to talk about the Central Kitchen project update. I'll turn it over to whoever's running.
Sure. I'll kick it off and various people chime in and contribute as report. Just a little bit of history, if you recall, we, as part of the original project when we bid it, we had an alternate for that scope. And while we were kind of at the same time looking at how that space laid out with a kitchen consultant, after we received bids, I think it was determined that we needed to take a deeper look at that and reassess how that worked, what Central Kitchen meant for Shakopee. So we brought a second consultant on to look deeper into it, one that has some local roots, works with a lot of Minnesota food service departments in Minnesota. Through those findings, sorry, excuse me, I lost my thought.
Sorry, I might have done it too. I apologize.
Okay. Through that, we were able to determine that solution not only would benefit the high school, but also at some of the elementaries. Central Kitchen doesn't necessarily mean a single site, and there are some efficiencies if we actually spend some dollars at the elementaries. The findings found that a lot of those kitchens are robust, meaning that most elementaries have, for a lot of elementaries have warming kitchens instead of full kitchens. You actually have full kitchens at every one of your buildings, which allow you to cook from scratch, which was part of one of the goals of the Central Kitchen, was fresher, healthier food from scratch. So we're able to do that by doing that. And some of those kitchens, the elementaries being Red Oak, Sunpath, Eagle Creek, and Jackson, those kitchens are very robust. Even if you went with a strategy where you paired schools, one kitchen helps cook for another on those days where you're making soup or some of those bigger meals, that would work. But the findings also found that if you added 1 or 2 pieces of equipment at some of those other schools, you actually would bring them all up to about the same level of capability. Healthier and fresher, you're doing some of that now, and actually some of that's been implemented as we've started to look at that through Deb's efforts. So just some instances, you're utilizing Smart Chicken. And for those of you who don't know what Smart Chicken is, it's basically just more humanely processed for one, and they quick chill them instead of dipping them in a salt solution to bring them down in temperature. Everything you're using in beef is 100% beef. There's no byproducts or fillers being used there. You're buying local. The Hmong farmers around the metro contribute, or you guys purchase a lot of food from them, a lot of vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Apples from Jordan, Minnesota. Hot dogs and taco meat are from Thousand Hills Cattle Company, which is grass-fed and nitrate-free. And your turkey burgers are coming from Ferndale Farms. Both of those are located in Cannon Falls, so very local. Fresher, again, utilizing the local per above, and then starting to cook from scratch at all your kitchens. Some of the cooks have started to do that. Deb's starting to implement that through all your kitchens right now. Some future things that are coming as planned as some of these improvements occur are making dressings, soups, some of the bigger meals that can be packaged, chilled down, frozen, and then brought to each of the schools and warmed up. So I guess implementation for Shakopee. Again, due to the robust kitchens in most of the buildings, what the findings are recommending is that we make some improvements at the high school, but also we make improvements at each of the elementaries on the equipment side to help foster that. It would limit the transportation that would be involved to having to package food at one location and take it out to all sites, because you'd be doing it at all sites actually. So you'd be providing healthier, fresher food at each individual site as you want. So I guess with that, I guess we'll focus on the high school. We'll cycle through some of their information. I can probably assist or
As you're pulling that up, Deb, a couple other things. Deb is involved with the Metro Healthy Food Focus Group. Sits on their board, and the State Nutrition Conference Committee. And just this week, I know that she's going. One of the big deals is getting rid of the high fructose corn syrup and food coloring and all of those things. We've been doing some of that already, and she's continuing to push that. And even this week, their team is up in St. Cloud, or heading up there for the Global Foods Conference to try and expand our offerings so that they're more culturally broad, so that we have a variety of things for our kids. So just they're doing a lot of things right now, and that we need to start getting that story out, telling that story with a lot with the fresh and local produce as well.
So as you heard from Chris and Dr. Bezick, Healthier Fresher is a district-wide initiative, and obviously the high school expansion needs to respond and support that whole strategy. So we've spent some time obviously working through the opportunities that exist at the new high school. So just to refresh everyone's memory, this is the overall high school plan. The food service operation is your existing is here, and it's expanding to areas both to that side and above. I think we have a zoom in on that coming up here. So the front house side, what kids see, and those dining, we'll see the servery. The left half of that is the existing servery that gets rearranged, redone, and then the whole right half is the expansion, because we know we're serving a lot more meals in the future.
Current choir room for people.
Yeah, that's the current choir room that gets taken over to create a servery expansion and an a la carte servery component as well. And then rearranging of the whole servery process to handle a larger volume. On the back side of the kitchen, a expansion of the whole storage component, so freezer, cooler, dry storage, walkthrough, so it's more of a processing system versus a central or a single kitchen. It's a central receiving and distribution component to it, with a large receiving and then expanded receiving to the west, and a refashioned loading dock receiving component to help respond to functionality and higher volume. Some folks like these kind of drawings that kind of give you the overview. So we're showing the commons and the servery in the front house, and the new a la carte expansion on the front house side. And then you see the middle of the kitchen, which is really where the prep, and it serves directly into the large storage area. In the back, you can see the red arrows coming from receiving to load the storage. So you now have a flow through system that can do some prep and ship out on the back side. And then just to remind everyone a little bit about the aesthetics, we have our commons and the expansion to commons beyond, which is where we start to see some of our culinary changes. You'll see the servery, which is now twice as wide as what it was before, and the whole flow and process of how students move through has changed, and the number of offerings they're presented with expands as well. And then a sample of part of the servery the new look of the servery and the change in philosophy of how to offer food to students. And then, of course, the new dining experience, which is not just one choice of table and one round, one place to sit, but we have a variety of seating. We also have the coffee shop and the culinary arts facility, which is close by as well, all part of that new food service change. Expansion to the commons, there's also the upper commons, which will be an option for dining and seating as well.
And for people that don't know, that space is expanding to the current game gym, that the commons is basically going into the current game gym.
Even the upper commons will be another option. Any questions, I guess? Different questions? Please, no?
Do we have to add, we already have 3 levels for serving. Do we have to add another one?
You mean lunch periods, or?
Yeah.
Actually, we've gone to 4, Mary.
Oh.
So to try to spread the kids out, so we believe with that, we'll be able to make that work. Because we're gonna have the increased space now, because we've expanded the commons into the current game gym, so we'll have twice as much space. The servery is twice as big, and then, so we'll be able to get the kids through the, plans for the same amount of time, yes.
Questions about it?
No, I want to summarize kind of my understanding from both the BOC and having read the report from the consultant. So my understanding is we had this external consultant come in, they did a full review of our whole food service process, facilities, top to bottom. They did it in light of not only what do we have today, but they did it with a view of where we need to go with the Spring High School. Yep. And so my takeaway has been, we're doing a lot of good things, and you highlighted a lot of those, Chris. We've continued to add some of those things. And now, in light of those things that we're doing, and in light of the robust elementary schools, the new kitchen expansion in the high school is going to be configured in a way that takes advantage of those robust elementary high schools versus the thought maybe at one time was we do everything in one place and disseminate it out. That didn't practically make sense.
Our elementary kitchens are better than just being heat and serve.
Exactly.
They can actually cook from scratch at the elementary.
So actually, it's to our benefit that, and I guess, dumb luck, call it whatever you want, we've been doing some good things, and now we're able to take advantage of those so that the new kitchen facility is not necessarily what we maybe envisioned originally. It's going to be something in light of the current things, the current capacity and facilities we already have to take advantage of. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I'd just like to say this has been a passion point of mine, obviously, for a while, you all know that. And I really appreciate that we took time to get it right, rather than plow through with what my initial vision was, because this makes a lot more sense. And if we're able to do the things that I believe we should be doing, and I hope most of the community believes we should be doing, if we can do that with this configuration, I'm really excited to see it all start to happen. I do also believe we need to start telling our story, because I, along with most of the community, probably didn't know we were using Thousand Hills nitrate-free, locally sourced beef for all. We're doing a lot of good things. We have a long ways to go, but I appreciate what we're doing, and I think this is going to be great.
Looks great.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Okay, item 7, old business action items, of which there are none. That's easy. Item 8, new business discussion items, of which there are
Well,
none.
I'm kind of wondering if, in light of the discussion tonight, this is the venue, folks, where you do this on the agenda as board chair, just so you know. I think we should entertain a discussion at this point of identifying a date, perhaps the next learning session or the next business meeting, where we can identify as an agenda item that we're going to have this discussion that we're so going to have.
I think that's perfectly fine.
And I don't know if we have, since we're on this discussion. I don't know if we have a preference to the learning session, because learning sessions are intended to be that kind of dialogue. That's exactly what they're for. Business meetings, you take action, you review things, just so you guys understand that concept. Seems to me the learning session might be an ideal venue to do that, and allow us to make kind of a presentation on some of the things that you guys asked about tonight, so we can share information, and then also field the questions. So I would suggest, I guess it's really an action item, but I would suggest, and I'll make the most or introduce the action item, Sarah. We don't do this normally, this is kind of unusual, that we add as an agenda item for the next learning session, a discussion on the, I'll call it the Shakopee budget.
So, let me just suggest that there's a retreat on the 20th, which we would have had this conversation to determine when to do it.
Yeah.
The next viable date that's not a board meeting would be April 17th.
We don't have when's our next learning session? I'm not looking at the calendar. So I don't know.
April 24th.
Oh, then I wouldn't put it off that far.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
Oh, we don't have it on the 27th because that's spring break week.
Right,
Okay.
So that's why we're.
All right, well, we could certainly consider it as early as next week.
Provided that gave the public enough time, we'd have to get this announced, make sure they had enough time to come. Some of the folks that were already here already left.
Right.
Well,
So
agreed, but we
whenever
would be
you
announcing that
consider
tonight,
for everybody.
and we'd be acting on it tonight, so. I think it's probably better, my sense is it's better to do it sooner rather than later. We've got that flexibility, that's why we put the kind of retreats on the calendar, so I'm looking at my colleagues here, I would suggest, let me modify my motion, which is to, we'd have to change that then to a public learning session for next Monday.
March 20th?
March 20th, next Monday, and have this as an agenda. So we just turn it into a learning session, we may have some other things we want to talk about, but this would be the primary topic.
Reggie, they're asking about what time?
That's where I was just
Oh, yeah,
gonna
we
go
gotta,
to.
yeah, see, folks, we gotta figure this out because there are already some things that are decked up for the
Yeah.
20th, so this is very, it's not customary. We don't usually make, that's why we don't make a decision really quick.
We're trying to do
There
this
are
on the
domino
fly,
effects
because
that we have
thank
to
you.
account
No,
for.
we appreciate that.
I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure I let people at school know,
Yeah.
so that they can
And
attend.
we would want, yes, we would want to give you more than enough time to do whatever communication would need to go out. So we have to give ourselves more than enough time for this one.
Yeah.
I mean, we could also consider adjusting the April 10th board business meeting and switching that to the 17th.
Absolutely.
And injecting a learning session there,
Yeah.
Right,
which would give us more time. That's after spring break.
right.
They'll be back. You can't amend your motion?
You can move to amend it.
Okay,
I think that, honestly, I think we're at a point, I'm gonna defer a little bit to administration here, but I feel like we're at a point where, we know what's transpired, we can have that conversation. I feel comfortable with the 20th personally, but I also understand the need to be fully prepared to address questions and what have you. So the 10th, we would just adjust, I think, to a learning session. I'm still of the mindset. of
I'm
the
not
20th.
comfortable with next week on account of short notice for everybody. I would rather switch the 10th business meeting and turn that into a learning session and push the business meeting to the 17th.
Okay.
And what time would that be?
Not sure yet. Well,
Well,
check the
We're
dates
working on
first.
it.
Yeah, but I assume it would
I
be
don't mean
6.
Assume it
to
would be
interject,
6
but
probably.
can it be in a place that can fit more people in
Yeah.
this, in case more of the community wants to come?
Let's get the date nailed first.
I know,
and
I'm
then
just
yeah.
thinking ahead.
But let's
No, no.
consider that,
Yeah, that's-
but don't know.
So,
All right, so what you're saying is, I will accept the amendment to the motion then?
yes.
Thank you,
Amend
Robert
your
Rules
motion.
here.
Yes.
I accept the amendment to the motion, making it the 10th, with that probably being modified for the business meeting, at least the first hour, let's say, to a learning session.
Okay.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. I can't repeat that, so.
I got it.
I'm saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. So we will be pushing the April 10th board business meeting to the 17th, replacing the 10th with a learning session. Any reason to believe we can't make that 6 p.m.
No.
the way it is? Okay,
And then I can work on a location.
yes, we'll work on location and we'll have to get it advertised.
Did you hear that? Did you hear 6 p.m.?
6 p.m.?
Yep.
And a
Yeah.
location.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll work on a location right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other new business items? All right, that was technically a new business action item, what'd you say?
Yeah.
We not
Yeah.
combining 8 and 9 together?
Sure.
All right, let's move to other. Anybody got an other?
Southwest Metro is getting together with their superintendents this week and doing a long vision planning of what Southwest Metro will look like in the future. So that will be interesting.
Yeah. Any others? Before we go on? No, that's right. You're fine. Okay, let's go around the horn with committee reports, just for fun. We'll start with Angela, since you already kicked it out. We'll go on the other way.
That's it.
Okay.
None.
Ready? John?
Good.
Ashley? Dave? Or Nancy?
Just we are finished our second rounds of industry councils, and it's been great. They've been actually working with us at the course development level, which to me is an exciting part of the work because they are helping to build some of our elective courses at the high school. And so we probably have, I don't know, total industry council membership might be around 70 when you put all 6 together, 70 or 80 community and business partners. So that's been just a really fun part to be involved with. And more recently, if Dave can speak to this, we continue to work on our My Saber plan, with that individual learning plan for students.
So, and with that, we did share at our Curriculum Advisory Council, or what used to be the Curriculum Advisory Council, now the District Advisory Council, on last Monday, and got some, starting to get some feedback on that. So, shared that with some secondary admin today as well, and so we're starting to chip away at that, and we think it looks pretty good. So I look forward to at some point sharing that in a learning session as well. And then nuts and bolts wise, access testing, which is the testing for our ELL, our second language students, is just about complete for this year. And our MCA testing, the big Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments, are starting right now with the window actually opened last Monday. The bulk of our students will test after spring break. So you guys all out here, you kids are probably going to start talking about that. And we actually had, I think some students at Eagle Creek might have tested the first day, so they actually vetted. So anybody at Eagle Creek kids, maybe they tested already. So
Take it? Did your kid? They did.
all right, so speak the truth.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Scott?
Nothing really to report out tonight.
Okay. Jeff?
You know what, you know, to echo what Nancy was saying, the industry council work has been very exciting. One of the, having 9 months into this now, and that's one of the, I don't want to say it's a surprise, but just the amount of community support as we are working, not only the work that we're doing now, but working towards the academies has just been, it's been overwhelming. And it's been a wonderful part of this, this whole process here. And as far as the building goes, we're in between seasons right now. I just congratulated all of our student athletes, fine arts participants, activities. Had a great winter sports season, and just really proud of all of our students and just the day-to-day operations at the school. I've been in a lot of different school districts. I've just been impressed with our students overall, and just very proud to be at the high school, and looking forward to this final push here of rest of March, April, and May. So I can't believe it's almost going to be a full school year. So thank you.
So Finance Committee met tonight. Just 2 quick things to note. Our current year budget, 16-17 budget, is on track with the revised numbers that we were all given. If anything, there's been a slight improvement in our projections relative to revenue versus expenses. So that's actually good. The second thing is we also met with PFM, who's the firm that manages our OPEB trust fund. For the benefit of anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's actually a fund we dedicated to handle future liabilities for retirement liabilities we have as a district. So we met with them, got an update on the account. We have about a $4.7 million balance, which is nice. We confirmed that there's only maybe a third of the districts in the state that even have this kind of fund, so it's kudos to a former board that created this that we've sustained over time. It's probably time for us to have a discussion as a board about our risk posture, our investment profile of that fund. And so at a future meeting, which may be delayed a little bit now, we will have a discussion as a board relative to what we're comfortable with in terms of how that's invested, so we can see that fund continue to grow to defray future liabilities. So look for that as an agenda item at some point. Yep.
Tony? Good.
I would like to just do a little shout out to our new partner, Threads for Teens. You all don't know this, but you walked by it on your way in here tonight. It's a partnership that we recently developed with a nonprofit, a family that lives here in Shakopee. Runs a organization called Threads for Teens, and they provide brand new clothing free of charge to primarily foster, homeless, or at-risk teen girls. And they came to us looking for space, and we were able to provide them space here in the district office. And they had their open house on Friday, and then they had their first clients on Saturday. They had 50 clients in, getting a personal shopping experience, and each client received 5 items of brand new clothing, anywhere from UGG boots to just incredible things that they have offered there.
And that's donated clothing, right?
It's donated clothing, and from corporations, from the businesses, from UGG, from Forever 21, from Root, all of them. And of the 50 clients that they served,
Hang on a second, Sean. I need you to throw yourself on the table and
Yeah.
observe that.
Make my sweater purple, I guess, if it makes it red.
Oh, I see it.
We didn't have enough excitement tonight.
No, we didn't.
Of the 50 clients, the majority of them were Shakopee students. So I'm very proud of that partnership and excited to see it grow.
No, good job. Did that? Sean? Okay,
I
good.
lost my train of thought.
That's all right. All right. Dr. Dunn?
I have a 50 by 30 workforce readiness meeting tomorrow in Prior Lake with the scale group, community group, working toward making our kids who graduate be ready for work or career.
Okay. Okay, item 12, upcoming meetings for your calendars. We might have the board retreat meeting for the 20th of March, next Monday. April 10th, another reminder that we're going to switch that to a learning session. Invite the public there, 6 p.m., location TBD. And then the 17th, we're going to switch that from the board retreat to a school board business meeting from 5 to 8. And with that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
Moved, Sean?
Second.
Who wants it?
Me.
All right. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same side. Meeting is adjourned.